I think we owe Yuri a big thank you for providing us with such a stunning sighting. There we go. Well, this is a nice surprise. I think we can see them all from here. Saying thank you to Yuri from the distance because we're very excited to see this pack of wild dogs. Hello everyone. Now I wonder if this is actually the Investec pack that was here last week, just because there's quite a few of them, so I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them, I think. Yeah, I do count 9 of them. Hard to tell because there are a few that are all mangled together, just keeping together for warmth. So what a stunning way to start the morning. Not bad at all. Hello, wild dogs. Now we are looking at one of Africa's most endangered predators, and the time spent with them is always great time because we don't get to see them all that often. In the same way that they come in and then they'll probably spend a few days with us, then the same way they'll go away and then we won't see them for a while. Now this particular one over here is the one that seems to be a little bit more alert, and I wonder if perhaps the Nyala and the Impala that we saw running earlier on, if they hadn't smelled the wild dogs, or if they hadn't had an interesting encounter with wild dogs earlier on, and that's why they were being so skittish. Because it could be that these guys have actually been moving all the way throughout the morning. But what a way to start the morning! Woohoo! Hello, pretty dogs. Now, look at them, all bundled up together. Look at that pile of dogs. They're looking very peaceful, aren't they? Almost like a proper, normal house dog. I think that's a very sweet scene. Tina, you're saying that they look so calm at the moment. They do. It's hard to believe that they can just very easily get up and start going and then they won't stop going for a while. I think they're all settling, or they've been sleeping for a little while. But my best guess would be that they actually woke up quite early this morning and then they've been on the run, because there were no signs of them yesterday afternoon anywhere around us. So wherever it is that they've come from, I think they've either done it early hours in the morning or perhaps late afternoon yesterday where nobody could actually realize. But look at that, it's almost like a semicircle of dogs. Not bad at all. Very pretty. I got a little bit of a heart attack when we were at the dam wall, and then I picked up the binoculars. And I think lucky this one had his head up because he was the one that I could see. What you guys listening to? So otherwise, they all had their heads down from where we were. It would have been virtually impossible to find them. Lara, you're saying that you love their colors. They're quite interesting, these dogs that we've got. He or this one, I'm not too sure if he's a boy or a girl. It's quite dark compared to some of the other ones. The other ones have a little bit more gold in their coat. I see there's another one that's also quite dark, but you see the contrast between the two of them. So just like we talk about zebras and leopards having unique spot patterns, the wild dogs also have unique patterns, and each one of them is easily identifiable by looking at the pattern. Now, I don't know if perhaps some of our more savvy viewers out there have an ID on this particular pack. My guess would be that it's the same one that we saw a few days ago, but I could be wrong because it's quite hard for me to ID some of the wild dogs. I think maybe this is the most prominent character. So if you do know who we're looking at, feel more than welcome to send through your comments using the hashtag SafariLive. Now, all the heads are up. Alright, what's going on, guys? What you looking at? Just like that. Sleeping time is over, greeting ceremony starts, all stretchy, and likely they're gonna go down to the dam for a drink, I am hoping. There's one that's refused to go anywhere. He sat back down. And I wonder... there's one... Okay, the one that we were looking at, it's ahead of the game, and he's got a little bit of a limp. So, well, clearly we shall follow wherever the wild dogs lead. Let's just let them get going. I wonder what it is that they've been hearing in that general direction. There are often nyala around camp, so I wonder if perhaps they haven't been hearing some nyala, or if they spotted something, because we've driven here just pretty much in from the direction where they're looking at. So they're looking. Morning, Rex. There's a Shlambi of Madaj just in front of Uyatela, heading towards the water hole. Alright, let's go. Alright, sorry, Lou, I believe that you had a question. Can you go again? Copy, make your way. James, no individuals with the color. That's what I was checking as well for, because I know the previous one that we saw had one, but I can't see a color round about here. So I don't think there are any. So perhaps this is another pack of wild dogs, which would make it all the way more interesting. Hello, doggies. And they are pretty much in front of the lodge. Imagine this. Imagine waking up and just seeing a pack of wild dogs going to the water hole. You're all looking very alert, and then these big ears, you can tell that they're not the biggest animal around. The grass in many areas is often longer than them, so their big ears allow them to almost like see ahead, because they're able to pick up movements and noises, well, not movements, just noises of movements, when they go around hunting. It's also good for them because when they start hunting or when they start moving around, often they'll bombshell, and each one of them will go in a bit of a different direction while they're trying to chase animals. So it's a good way then to be able to listen out to get the pack all back together. Marianne, you're wondering why wild dogs are so endangered. Well, there's a couple of reasons. One of them, or the main one I would say, is habitat loss. They require areas very big. About 100 square kilometers is the home range of a wild dog, to what's believed, unless the experts from the Endangered Wildlife Trust have a new theory. But they require areas to be very big, and then when they go out hunting, the problem is that they can also escape from protected areas. So they go into farms, they go into areas where there's cattle, and they kill a lot of the animals. And obviously whoever or the farmers are not happy with this, because you clearly don't want a dog killing your cattle or your way of living. So a lot of the time they get killed in retaliation. And then another major issue is the fact that they can very easily contract diseases that affect domestic dogs, but they don't have the antibodies for domestic dogs. So in the last few years, we've actually lost a few packs to distemper virus and rabies as well. So there are all sorts of efforts being made in all of these areas to try and vaccinate them, and especially in the greater Kruger area and parts of the Kruger, just to be able to protect them and just make sure that they don't get affected by these types of diseases. Now that we're sitting still, I can definitely smell them. They have a very strong smell. Perhaps with wild dogs, sometimes it's one of the few animals that you can smell them before you see them. And it's a mix of dung and dirt. That's what I can say of their smell. Where are you guys gonna go? Beautiful ears. I think they haven't quite decided what they want to do. There was definitely something that they could hear with their big ears. You see there's the one with the limp, the very dark one. But maybe they're just gonna go down for a drink. So let's try and head and follow them around. See what it is that they get up to. I'm gonna smell like wild dog this afternoon. Oh, guys, not into the drainage. There's some hadidas that just decided to take flight because they're a bit scared of the dogs. And there we go. What are you? And interesting that they are not too far from where Tristan had the tracks of all of those lions. So I wonder if they are not listening out for maybe a leopard or maybe lions somewhere in the drainage, because we do know the Nkahumapad likes the drainage lines around this area. So I wonder. It's quite an interesting question, this one. Although I think I'm just being alarming for no particular reason. Likely they've all gone into different spots. What are you guys looking at? These are the times when you feel inferior as a human, because you definitely cannot see whatever it is that they're looking at or hearing. Up they go. Jeffrey, you're wondering if wild dogs hunt more at night or during the day. Well, they tend to hunt more during the day. They are diurnal creatures. So they're not like, they'll hunt just as the sun is coming up and as the sun is coming down. But, I just want to go where they go. But normally they rest throughout the night and they don't hunt as much during the night as they do during the day. Let's have a look. We're going down right into the dam, which normally in a very rainy season we wouldn't even be able to cross, because it would be almost like a death trap. But working in our favor today, as it's actually quite dry, and then we can have another look at these beautiful dogs. Woohoo! Guys, where are you going? Definitely we've got one of the alpha ones, the one that with the limp that keeps running away, because whenever he starts running, then the rest of the pack follows. Now I wonder if they're not going to go to Galago Pan for a drink. If they carry on in that direction, maybe that's exactly what they're going to be doing. I'm going to move again, just to be able to get into a position where it's going to be perhaps a little bit easier for us to start following them around. Because if they carry on in that drainage line, it's going to be a little bit difficult. So while we reposition, we're going to go back to Tristan and find out how his tracking is going on. Hopefully, they are, although going north, which is not ideal because they have, because they're still carrying on north. So if they carry on in this direction, they might just go out. But like we said earlier, when we started the drive, there were some Nyala and some Impala running in this direction. So I wonder if that's not the scent that they're after. They're definitely now on the move, on the hunt. Maybe they're going to go for a... Where are you guys going to go? Now there's a lot of hesitation. They're not too sure where to go. All of them are here. There's just one that's gone off more of a southerly direction, and there are some hooded vultures that have joined the party. So some of the vultures have learned by behavior just to follow the dogs around. There it is. There's a hooded vulture that's been trailing all of these wild dogs. Sneaky little vulture. Because they know normally that if they follow, then they might find something. You guys are heading... Which way are you heading? We've got one that's pretty decisive. Oh, they all coming back. And off they go. Loving this. Alright, where are you guys going? We're gonna let them go ahead. And we're going to carry on. Hillary liked, you're wondering how big a pack can get. Well, I think one of the biggest ones in this general area reached to be about 42 dogs altogether, but then it split into smaller packs, because 42 is quite a big pack. But the record for females when they have pups is about 21 pups, which is a lot of wild dogs. I'm not too sure where we're going to be able to get a better view of them with all these trees, probably forward. And then subsequently that pack ended up splitting into smaller packs. There we go. Now we're going to be able to have a look at the ones by the Marula. But on average, we get all sorts of different things. We have a pack that is just 3, then we've got packs that's about 9 of them, then other packs that are maybe 10 individuals, 18, 20. So it just depends normally on how good the denning season is and how many pups actually make it into adulthood. because they tend to have a lot of pups, and if they have a lot of pups and a lot of them survive, then it's a very good thing, because most of them, they're going to contribute to the numbers in the pack. Now, this is going to get a little bit harder, but I think if I can get up here, it might be the easiest thing for us to do, as I think they are done running on the roads. Done running on the roads they are. Alright, let's try and follow them. Are you going back to the road? What are you guys doing? Ooh, there's a, what is it? An impala? A diker, they're chasing something. Let's go have a look. Oh, let's not get a flat here. I'm getting into a complicated spot. Okay. Oh. Right. At the tough spot. Now they were chasing, I'm not too sure if it was a bushbuck or an impala, but something definitely had its tail curled up, and a lot of white, because two of them went straight and carried on going very, very quickly. Now unfortunately I've got to follow this path. And it'll be a lot easier to try and get here now. This is the tricky part about wild dogs. NASCAR from Wisconsin, you're wondering if the dogs make their own kills or if they scavenge from other predators. Well, they make their own kills. Often, however, they get scavenged on by other predators. So a lot of other creatures like leopards and hyenas in particular, they will come and steal their kills. But I've also seen lots of vultures trying to mob them and try to chase them off their kills. But they do make their own kills. I see some of them running still. Whew, this is proper wild dog chaos this morning. Now, I'm not too sure where the ones that were in hot pursuit of that little antelope have carried on running to. We have managed to find about half of the pack here, and they are standing quite still at the moment. So this is what happens sometimes with the wild dogs. Somebody will find something and... or maybe they were just playing. Thought maybe they had gotten something there. So one of the reasons also why it's so hard to keep up is because you can see now that they camouflage very well. They're not that big, and when they sprint and they start running like that, like some of them just did, then it's very hard to keep up with them, because obviously we have to maneuver around trees and branches and stumps, and they can just go, and they are very good at just going. So this is a proper wild dog chaos that we are living this morning. How exciting! Definitely did not think that my Friday morning was going to start like this. Hello, gorgeous. Nikki, you're wondering when they feed if they go by a hierarchy or if it's chaos. Well, it's normally chaos, and I've seen pack of wild dogs where actually one will make the kill and then it will go and fetch the rest of the pack, especially if they've got puppies, and then start feeding on them. Wild dogs are actually very noble in the sense that they're one of the few creatures that when they've got pups, they always leave a babysitter back at the den when the pups still are too young to follow around, and they leave a babysitter at the den, and then they will go and feed, and when they come back to the den, then they will regurgitate what it is that they've eaten and feed the dogs. Even if they're injured, you feed the ones that got left behind. So it's something that's very unique to wild dogs, and it's not a common behavior that's observed in other creatures, just that coming back and sharing the food. But clearly they have evolved to have a bit of a different structure, and it's quite striking, especially if you compare them to lion. When they start feeding, the lions will fight one another, whereas the dogs seem to have a different approach of things, which makes them very unique. Now, On the run we go again. So here we go again. Ooh. Oh, so I don't know where I'm gonna go. Sorry, Lou. Can you go again? Andrea, you're wondering if the members of the pack are related. Well, in most cases they are. So it'll be a male and an alpha female that are together, and then the youngsters that they've produced. But there is a lot of there's a lot of moving around in between the different packs. Do you think we'll make it down here? Because they tend to migrate from one another, because if there's obviously a hierarchy in between, and lower ranking individuals do not get to mate. So the point of all of them is to mate, and also to then it helps the second purpose of actually. Oh, sorry, I've just got to concentrate here with this stump. I'm hoping it won't be too bad. Oh, yes, we've avoided it. Ooh. All right. We are going to maneuver around all of this monkey orange, but while we do that, let's head over to Tristan and find out how the tracking is going. No, it seems like the tracks have become gremlins and are attacking Tristan. Luckily, we've managed to keep up with them. They are not too far from our Buffelshoek boundary now. And they are definitely on the move and looking for food, so I am hoping that they're going to stick around for a little while longer before they cross north, because there's also a dam not too far from here. Could be what they're interested in. Although they are just sniffing all around, trying to look possibly for a potential prey. So that's why their movements seem all scattered, and they're going around, they're smelling. And I think it was around here last night, wasn't it, BM, where we saw that big herd of impala, so maybe that's what they are looking for. Alrighty, now we have changed directions once more. You can see it's almost like they're being pulled by their noses. Smelling something. I'm gonna have to turn around now because I can't see them anymore. So we're gonna turn around and carry on running with wild dogs. How's that for Friday? Anna Marie, you're wondering if wild dogs are more likely to hunt in cooler weather, where a lot of the animals are, but in this particular weather you can imagine that it's better for them and they can pursue their prey for longer or make more efforts to hunt, because they're not going to get as hot as quickly as they normally would if the sun were shining. So it allows them, it gives them that extra leeway. They're going back to where we were. And it allows them to be active for a little bit longer without the fear of overheating. I've just come from that spot. I just want to see where they go, because now they're running back up. Guys. There's wild dogs. Alright. Let's go again. Alright, so you can see the guys jumping in front of us. Going back in pretty much the same way we came out. Definitely something. They smelled something that's now dragging them back in this particular direction. I think maybe we can go like this. Nothing's gonna break. Where are you? Oops. Straight ahead. Oh, there's a big hole there. Don't really want to go that side. Like you're saying that their legs are longer than most dogs, and if there is a particular reason why, well, they live in an area where vegetation is quite high, so animals that are not that big in within their surroundings, then they evolve to have certain advances, if I can call them that way, to then be able to thrive in this particular environment. think I just want to go in a bit of a different direction. So they've got big ears and very long legs because of the area that they live in. So the long legs allows them to be like slightly higher up than what a normally dog would be in this particular environment, and then the ears to be able to listen better for things that might be around. Now this is exactly the same way we came in. So I'm trying to figure out where they have gone off to. Okay, they've carried on that way. I think maybe around here. It's getting a little bit complicated now. And it looks a little bit more open this side. Alright. So let me see. Alright. We are going to try and see if maybe we can have another look before they head onto the boundary. But while we try to relocate, let's head back to Tristan. Oh, they did. Now we cannot see what it is that they're feeding upon. My guess is a small antelope, a steenbok. Okay, so they did. They managed to get a small steenbok, and I think this poor steenbok just actually got flushed by those first ones that started running. And you can see all of them feeding in there, and we were talking about the way that they feed compared to other animals. You see there isn't as much aggression with some of the other individuals as sometimes we find in some of the other species. Now we've got this two that have gone running. Now they've stopped. So they're definitely on the move and on the hunt. A little steenbok is not going to be enough for all these 9 wild dogs, and they have kept going. But you see, even when they make a kill, even a small one like this one, it just got devoured in just a few minutes. I would say maybe 1, 2, at most 3 minutes, and then they've pretty much finished the steenbok and then probably gonna carry on looking for more food. But how amazing is this? Wild dogs with a kill. I haven't seen wild dogs eating something in quite a while. Because normally you see them going and running, and oh, there we go. But not too often that you see them actually stopping by for a second to eat. And off we go again. Woo. Hannah, you're wondering if wild dogs are similar to any other animals. Oh, they're running. Sorry, Hannah, I'll get back to your question. I just want to see where they go. Hannah, you're wondering about their behavior and if it's similar to the one of any other animals. They are quite unique in their social structure as well as their behavior. What we saw now of them just sharing the kill and quite a peaceful event. They're not fighting with other creatures. Even when we saw, for example, a few days ago, Shadow and her cub feeding on a kill. Shadow was not, and the cub actually, was not too happy to share the kill, and it started growling, and there was a bit of tension between mother and daughter. And lions are very well known for fighting non-stop when they manage to get a kill or bring something down. So I think that's quite unique to wild dogs, but in certain ways, they are very clever creatures, and they'll be somewhat like some of the other predators that we get around here in the sense that they are very opportunistic because they rely on their own senses and themselves to be able to survive. So the more successful they are as a pack, probably the better chance that they've got of living. Alright, this road is very bumpy. I'm gonna try and carry on going around here, see if maybe we get another to my right. Oh, there we go. Now they're coming back. Well spotted, BM. You guys are going crazy. Oh, hello! But there's a lot more dogs now. Okay, well, just to add some puzzling behavior, this is not all the dogs we saw this morning. We counted about 9, and now there are a lot more of them, which is quite strange. I wonder if maybe we don't have a pack that's been split up for a while, or perhaps even 2 packs. Hasn't been unheard of. Alright. Just trying to get out of here. What's a strange morning? Oh, I love it. All right, here we go. There they come back. What's happening, guys? This is a lot of wild dogs. A lot of wild dogs. Oh, this is wonderful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, this is... So whatever it is that we were looking at was about half of was actually running like crazy here. How cool is this? Now, are you guys going to carry on running that way or are you going to come back? As they seem to be in a bit of a playful mood. Let me just turn around once more so that we can have another look at them. Alright, perhaps it is just one massive pack altogether and they actually did get spooked by the lions. Like we said, they were, when we initially found them this morning, their behavior was a bit funny, and then Tristan finding the tracks of them close to where the lions were could indicate that they all met each other sometime last night. Alright, let's go and have a look. Tristan's theory is that perhaps the breakaway pack of 3 bumped into the pack of 13. Could be. I did count about 16 of them, so it would make sense. But let's just try and find them again. Oh, come. Okay. I don't know where Rex has gone, so let's try and get... Whew. I'm gonna try and find them as quickly as possible. Oh. Where are you guys? Sorry, we are just trying to look for them, trying to see where they've gone off to, because I can't see them anymore. And there are some tracks here for another vehicle, so I think Rexon might be with them just a little bit further ahead down the road. So hopefully that will be the case, because they carried on. I see a vehicle, so I think maybe that is them. So let's go. Oh, Wendy, you're being such a good girl today. Lots of running around. All right. All right, we are going to try and carry on trying to relocate. But while we do that, let's go over to Tristan and find out if he can tell us what's been happening during the night. We'll be able to have a limit. The guys mentioned that they were surprised by the... And we think it's actually two packs that have gotten get together. All right, now I think the road is not too far now. There is hope. Sorry guys, this was definitely unexpected, so that's why I'm laughing. Okay, let me call it in on the radio, because we've been very lucky, and I know there were a lot of people very desperate to come and follow up. Now I think this is a smaller pack. I'm gonna try and go a little bit further up just to see how many individuals there are around here. I see some blood on your face. We've definitely been eating. So, sorry, I'm just going to call them in on the radio, like I said, just to let everybody else have a bit of a chance. Stations I've located, Madach, Spaghetti Junction. This was very unexpected. But what a great surprise. It's just one MOVA and about 6 individuals. No, they're fairly static for now. Okay, copy. Alright. So we've done our good ranger duty and we've informed everyone else of what's going on. Guys, I just said that you were static. Don't start running. Alrighty, I think this might be the initial pack that we saw, because there's only 6 here, and I wonder if perhaps there aren't 3 more up at the top where we can see them. But very nice to have found you guys again. Proves that when you stop looking for things and they come around. Alright, let's follow them around. Rashni, you're wondering if a pack will tolerate members from another pack. Well, there's a lot of... Indeed, here are some of the other ones. So I think this is the one that we actually started with. There's a lot of migration in between packs, and animals will go from one pack to the other, but as long as they remain submissive, then that tends to be okay if they want to try and get into a new area. Not a new area, into a new pack. However, like the case that we had today, where they were all of them fighting with one another, even if we couldn't see it, and some of the rangers reported that this is what's happening. When you have 2 formed in packs that are pretty set, it's not. They will not accept another pack coming into their particular area. Hello? Are you coming to inspect us? I think maybe they'll probably look at us and be like, ugh, this humans stink. Beautiful. Alright. They're all walking around us. Gray, you're wondering if wild dogs descend from wolves like other dogs. My common guess would be that yes, that they all come from a common ancestor because they're all canids. However, I'm not too sure how closely related they are. Oh, there's a lot more wild dogs here. Okay, so maybe this is not the same pack that we saw earlier on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Ooh. I'm not comfortable with you sneezing as much, wild dog. I'm just hoping this is spring. Alright, let's just go a little bit further on. Rex, they've just stepped in those mud wallows close to Twin Dams Road. So if you come up Twin Dams, then you'll see us there. Well, this is definitely not the same pack that we started off with this morning. Sorry guys, I didn't mean to push you away. I'm gonna have to think about where's probably... We go around here, this is probably the best view if we go to our left, because then we'll be able to see all of them. Beautiful. Well, this was quite a bonus. Did not expect to find them again. And this is not where they were running. So I don't understand who we're looking at and what's been going on, or how fast they've been running, but they've definitely fooled all of us. I wouldn't be surprised if some of them actually went all the way to Sydney's Dam and then all the way back here, and then that's what happens when you run for too long. You get very tired, and then you have to sleep for a very long time. Look at those slender legs. Amazing to think that such a little body is able to run for such a long time. Alright, VM, I'm gonna go to our left here so that we can have probably a better look of all of them. So I'm just gonna go around. Hopefully that'll be better. Alright. Now we can choose. I've got all the dogs here. Yeah, 11 of them. So I wonder if perhaps it could have happened that some of the pack actually split up and then they went off running somewhere else. Wouldn't be rare for that to happen amongst wild dogs. And then later on, as they get tired of running around, likely they're going to start looking for each other. Because the initial ones that we saw, the pack of 9, or when they were just 9, they started contact calling, and they make that very interesting call. They go woo woo, and they start making a call like that, and they were looking for some more pack members. So I wonder actually what we've been looking at the whole morning. Seems like it's been very confusing. Rashni, you wonder if the policies are different when intervening with animals that are very rare, maybe in comparison to some of their animals. That is a tough question. So normally, for example, the problem with wild dog is they get a lot of snares, so that is one thing, and they get affected a lot by diseases that are brought in by domestic dogs, so diseases that are not commonly found out here in the wild, like distemper and rabies. So when that is the case, they do or they have done preventive treatment just to make sure that these animals or that these packs don't entirely disappear, because often they will come into contact with common dogs or domestic dogs. So there is a bit of that involved, particularly in the Kruger area, and I know there's been a lot of effort to try and vaccinate them against distemper and rabies, but it's hard to find them, because these are the type of vaccines that you've got to vaccinate them more than once. And I know that Grant and Tristan have had a wonderful time trying to look for wild dogs in some areas of the Kruger and some reserves outside of Kruger, just to try and be able to dart them and then just give them the necessary inoculations. Now, in terms of if a reserve would intervene, I think it would probably be just analyzed on a what do you call this? On every specific cases. It depends on what exactly is happening. So for example, if a wild dog were eaten or hurt by a pride of lions, likely they would not intervene, because that is nature and nature has to run its course. And particularly the reserve that we're in, they try to minimize their intervention just to keep this as wild as possible. However, with a disease, with something like rabies or something like that, which is highly contagious, and they would probably just get involved and try to find out what is happening before too many things happen, or that they spread it onto other species. That would be my guess. But like I said, they normally just analyze it and decide on every specific case. So there's not one general rule, but in terms of that, having said that, the common denominator is if they can avoid intervening, because it's a natural thing that will occur. It doesn't matter if humans are around or not around, then they'll leave it to follow its own course. If it's something else, then they might assess it and then intervene. Look at them, all sleeping very tightly around here. Some of them have got still some red in their faces, so I'm sure they've been eating some things and causing chaos all around. You guys, you're all sleeping. They all seem to be exhausted, to be honest. There's the one with the color. So you've got to be part of the Investec Pride, I would say. Pride. Pack, I'm sorry. Pack. But definitely not the ones that we saw this morning. So I wonder what the other pack was, actually. Yeah, I am just so very confused about all these dogs that we've been seeing today. Definitely a group of 9, and then a group of... How many did we count the second time? 13, 11. I think it was about 11. Yeah, it's been very... Sorry, I just need to hop onto the radio to direct somebody onto the sighting. Standing by. Yeah, you can make your way. It's just me here for the time being. I don't know if Rex is still responding. Just come past the drainage line towards Trindams and then you will see us there. We're pretty much on the road. Alrighty, sorry about that. Oh my goodness. Madaj, the wild dogs. On those mud pans between Trindams and Spaghetti Junction. Not a problem, just find out from Rex if he is still making his way. Alright guys, I think I'm going to be a very nice human being, and there's somebody that hasn't even been able to see them, so I'm gonna let them come into this sighting. Yeah, you can both make your way. I'll pull out. Sorry, the people talk a lot on the radio. You can both make your way. I'll make space for you. Alright, so we're going to stick around with them. I think we've got another maybe 10-15 minutes before all of the other vehicles come around, because some people were not listening to the radio, so they're like, oh, did you find them again? What's going on? So I think we got lucky into bumping into them, and we had a wonderful sighting this morning. So I think it's only fair that we keep good relations with everyone else and also allow some other people to come and have a look, because a lot of people didn't actually manage to have a nice view of them. But we can enjoy their company for a little while, and just to throw a spanner in the wheels, as Tristan would say, we do know that one of them is colored, so we know for sure that this is the Investic pack. Now it's probably just going back to trying to figure out who the other ones were. You're all looking so pretty this morning. Beautiful dogs. Now this is probably a good way to spend this part of the day. They've been running around like crazy the whole morning, and now they found a very good spot out in the open where they can just relax and enjoy the day, or enjoy the rest of the day. So I see some of the people are arriving. Michael, you're wondering what is the most wild dogs I've seen together. Well, we used to have a pack, I can't remember the name, around Lion Sands. And there were about 21 of them, so that was probably the big one. But in altogether, I think if we consider that these were two different packs of over 10 individuals each, likely, I'm hoping now, I'm just throwing it out there because I'm not 100% sure of how many different ones we've actually seen this morning, but today would also add up. But in one go, the most that I've seen is 21. It was quite a sighting, that one, of like just dogs everywhere running around and playing and doing all sorts of things. So it's always nice to see them. And like I said, your winter is a great time to start seeing wild dogs, but other than that, some other times of the year are not ideal because it's just hard. And as you've seen today, they run into the bushes and they dash in there and they don't stop, and they're not as big as some of the other creatures to follow around, and their camouflage is actually fantastic, so it makes it quite hard for us to try and follow them. So any time spent with wild dogs is wonderful time. You guys, nobody would believe us unless they had been with the morning with us and spent it dashing about in the bush when they sleep like this. Beautiful. Maggie, you're wondering how the wild dogs actually bring down their prey, if they go through their throat or their legs. So when they start running like that, they just pretty much try to bring them down, as in like they'll either bite the tail or a leg or just anything where they can try and get hold of them. But wild dogs are very well known. The first thing that they do is that they disembowel their prey. So they'll go for the stomach and try to take their stomach contents and everything out, and normally the prey dies very quickly out of shock. Rex, you can make your way. Alright, well it seems that somebody else wants to go, so we can spend a few more minutes with them. Beautiful. You could fool anyone that you're actually this tame and sleepy, like the lions. Alright guys, I see another vehicle coming in, so we are going to leave them just to make space for some of the other stations that didn't manage to have a contact, didn't manage to have a sighting. Jesus, can't even speak. Gee. Alright, we are going to say goodbye to the lovely wild dogs, but while we get ourselves out of here. Let's go to Tristan and see if he gets lucky with the hyenas.